Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Cover 4. There we go.
We live like the Gamecocks.
Yep. Good old cocky
Like
top.
the Gamecocks.
Yep. All right, before we get into it, this week we're going to sponsor Hometown Digital TV. Obviously, this is what you're watching us on. First of all, we have our own app.
We do.
First and foremost, always go to our app. That's where you're going to get everything.
Watch the whole earliest,
a little bit more. The quality is so much better.
Yep.
The first time Jordan watched it, he said it felt like that he was back in studio.
No, I didn't. I said, Stephen, I never want to see you that big on my TV again. That was exactly what I said.
The week I went to Nashville, when y'all uploaded the episode, I watched it on the app. Felt like I was there with y'all. It was that clear.
The app is the best way to watch it. Obviously, you're probably watching us here on Facebook. We're also on YouTube. We got a Twitter now.
Yep.
Instagram.
You should be able to just search Hometown Digital TV. All right, let's get into it this week. Our picks, Kyle. You were 2 out of 4 this week, 50%.
Me and Landry, obviously, as you know, as you've watched throughout this football season, we're the two smartest guys.
Kyle,
the first week you got like 1 out of 8 right.
And
we're the smartest ones.
It ain't hard to be one of the smarter ones.
That's true.
That's true. It really
Are you
is.
serious?
That's true.
Some days I think I'm in the wrong room. Because I've always heard that if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So evidently, me and Steve, we're in the wrong room.
We in the wrong room.
But clearly, like throughout all of us, like our picks are pretty much across the board, except like a couple over and unders.
Yeah.
The over and under, I just always go with the over, pretty much.
Right.
Life's too short.
Yeah, look, Carolina over.
Carolina over
because
about
covered by themselves.
If you think
We
about
did cover it over by ourselves.
That was 66.
Oh, okay, so 3 off.
But
I know you have a hard time counting, but use your fingers.
I can't remember
in
what the over
Steven's
was.
defense, when we did the show last week, technically what we had the spread at and the over-under, Carolina did cover that. But officially when the game started, Carolina did not. We were short 4 points.
Well, you know what? Speaking of Carolina, good old cocky top.
Why are you yelling?
Jordan's upset about Tennessee losing.
I was the only
Jordan
one
was there. He got a piece of the bush at his house.
So I went to the game. Kyle, you didn't watch the game.
I followed it on Twitter.
You went to Dale Jr.
You went and watched the race. You said, you know what? I don't want to watch South Carolina and Clemson play. I want to watch cars go fast and turn left.
No, y'all, me and Kyle were at the race together.
Yeah.
And every time there was a first down, there was something he'd go,
I knew what was going on.
He would just grab me and shake my arm.
But what you should have done
what
is when it started getting out of hand, you should have said, Landry, I don't care about Dale Jr. anymore. Take me home.
Take me home.
I want to see this.
I didn't ride with Landry.
Hands down, that environment that I was in Williams-Brice on Saturday was the best environment and the best game I've ever seen inside those walls.
I think it's similar, and I don't know if you were at this game, Jordan, but when we beat Alabama in 2010, that was the loudest, and that was Williams-Brice during the day. I can only imagine what it was like during the night.
Anytime that Tennessee would do something and the band would try to play Rocky Top, whoever was running the DJ booth, he would drown.
Yeah, I did.
And there was like sandstorm coming over the top of me.
Press play.
I was probably, 75, 50 yards by the way that from the Tennessee game. You couldn't hear anything they were doing.
Plus, while we're on the topic, let's get in and break down the game.
Yeah, Spencer Rattler probably had the best game of his career.
He had statistically the best game for a Carolina quarterback in the school's history.
Oh, yeah.
And then I read something that says Spencer Rattler is the co-player of the week in the nation. And they said the only thing that he could have done better to win that award was to sell hot dogs at halftime.
That was it.
I don't think, I honestly looking at it, there's nothing more he could have done to win it outright. But they stuck co on it.
Caught the ball, caught a pass,
ran the ball,
threw the ball.
I did throw the ball. Did he throw the ball?
Once or twice.
30 or 37, 6 touchdowns. I think he had like 400 and some odd yards.
453. Or excuse me, I'm sorry. I was looking at our total team stats. I apologize.
And so Kyle texted me Sunday and he said, "Do you know what we did last night?" And I said, "What you mean, Kyle?" And he said, "We threw the ball downfield." And boy, this Spencer Rattler, he was chucking that thing left, right, center, everywhere downfield.
And you could see, like, once he got hot and once he got a little bit of confidence, he never let out of it. And if those Taters let him have an ounce of that this week, he's going to do more than
the one thing that
He might throw 10 touchdowns.
You are so delusional.
Have you seen that secondary?
I can't believe you just said that.
the one thing
I did
I
say
can't
that.
believe you just
Write
said
it
that.
down.
Yo, he had one good game.
the one
One
thing
good-
that's
I'll take it back. He had one very, very, very good
That's
game.
all it takes.
the one good thing about this week.
That's all it takes.
The line blocked. They pass blocked. We had 12 different players had catches, and then we had 7 different players with rush the ball. You know what Satterfield said in his press conference today? The players went up to him. They just said, "F it. What do we got to lose?"
Yeah.
Why can't we do that every week? Like, I understand statistically you're not going to have the output that you got.
Right.
But it's like, why aren't you throwing the kitchen sink on every game?
I'm telling you, if Marcus Satterfield had any chance of keeping his job, it was the Tennessee game.
He started right there.
And
It's the
he's
rest of
got
the
to
season.
follow it up in
Yes.
the Clemson game.
He's just not
I
consistent.
think because of what they did against Tennessee, I think they could lose.
No.
They could lose to Clemson
Close.
close. And then win the bowl game. And Marcus Satterfield stays.
But it just depends how the offense
Yeah, if the
is.
offense scores like 35 or 42,
Yo, but-
the offense looks good, but our defense
Yo,
just can't hang with
But
Clemson's
y'all
offense.
got to.
And he just has a good game plan all around. And then Satterfield comes out and that looks good in the bowl game. Okay, maybe you could see.
I still say he gets his walking papers
like
at the end of
this
the
is-
fourth quarter.
Like,
It's tough.
Congratulations, good job. He had a really good game, but that kind of performance, that's not sustainable.
It's the again, like
It might not be
not
sustainable.
it's not
but
sustainable, but
for
it's
this
like it's the consistency piece. It's like we have a great game like we did against Tennessee, and then we do a complete 180.
Yeah.
And next week or this week against Clemson, it's what we've seen history-wise with him in 2 seasons. We're gonna
Offense doesn't score.
We're going to throw a dud up this weekend,
Yeah,
but it's
right.
like it's finding the consistency and doing it week in and week out. Like again, like I said, it's like you're not going to get 63 points a game. You're not going to have Rattler throw for 453 yards and 6 touchdowns a game. Like, it's just realistically, it's not going to happen. But it's like you got to at least move the ball. Like in Florida, we didn't move the ball.
Right.
It was awful. At least even if we didn't score 63 points against Tennessee and the offense moved the ball, I think as Carolina fans we would accept it. Like you just can't not move the ball like we did against Missouri and Florida. Like those were awful games. Those were awful performances.
They were, but
like
you know
nobody
what?
played good.
The last thing I watched them do, score 63.
Scored a lot.
Yeah.
Scored a lot of points.
Hey,
You got me, Hope.
Hey.
The thing is all right. So we lost
wait,
to Arkansas, but the
wait,
offense
wait,
looked
wait,
good.
wait,
Like you said, consistency wise,
Let's
it's
hear-
not like
let's
it
hear what he
hasn't
has
been
to say.
there.
Listen to what I got to say.
Let's hear this.
Y'all remember the last team that scored 63 in Williams-Brice Stadium?
It was probably Clemson.
It sure was.
And guess what? Amy was still wiping your tail then, so don't act like you remember that.
I think Derek had like 3 touchdowns that game.
Yeah.
And by the second or third time he went in, he loves to post a picture. He will post it that the entire end zone is just giving him the finger. He loves to post that picture.
Another thing, Jaheim Bell had a great game.
Oh, I mean, if you ever get him involved,
No.
the carry-on
Carry-on Joiner.
we're
The
gonna
South
get-
Carolina
we're gonna
Gamecocks
get
are a
there.
better team when the Carry-on Joiner's on the field.
We're gonna get
Yes.
there. We're gonna get there.
Yeah,
Juice
Bell-
Wells had a great game.
Well, that's
They didn't even try to.
What
cover
happened
him.
at the beginning of the year for him to just now start getting on the field like this?
who?
Stupidity.
Joyner.
Joyner? Just
Stupidity.
I don't know.
It's that.
But there was a
Satterfield
few
said
games
they had
that-
an effort mentality.
Well, at the beginning of the year, he was battling some injuries where he was
Yeah.
pretty much only playing special teams. And
Yeah.
then towards the middle of the year, he got a little bit healthier, so you would see him kind of sporadically out there. And then now he's pretty much 100% healthy, and he's able to
You want
do
to know another thing?
what he can do.
I think it has to him coming in more has to do with Marshawn Lloyd and Christian Bill Smith not playing.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, the
one bad
offense looks
thing-
better without Marshawn
Yeah.
Lloyd in it.
The Gamecocks are a better football team when the Carry-on Joiner's on the field.
Yeah.
You're
the
trying
only
to
give
five the ball.
utilizing him
I
to his
think
strength.
I think kind of what happened is they're like we got Marshawn Lloyd on the field. He needs to get the ball so and so like how many times?
Yeah.
And there's like an emphasis on like give him the ball, give him the ball, give him the ball. Whereas now it's like a little bit more
spread it out, yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
think
can't-
that if he's able to come back this week, they got to keep this same mentality of, all right, we were able to get the ball to 12 different people
No,
last
just
week.
hand it off to
Get it to
Marshawn.
12 different. That's what you want.
Hand it off to Marshawn.
And watch Marshawn Lloyd put up 170 rushing yards against the best defensive line that's ever stepped foot on
Another
a college
thing is
football
with when
field. Ever
DK.
stepped foot on a college football
But
field.
if we're going to continue to use the carry on the way we are, like you have to like you have to let him pass the ball too. Like he is doing it, but it's like normally before like the Vanderbilt game and this weekend, usually when he came in and outside the bowl game, he was mostly running the ball.
But
so like any competent defense knows like, okay, he's in here at the Wildcat. He's either going to hand it off or he's going to run it himself. But like when you give him some quarterback friendly passes, it's deadly sometimes.
To your point, though, to further your point, if you have Marshawn Lloyd in there and you know he's going to be the workhorse, it's easier for a defensive coordinator.
I don't think he can be the workhorse. He can't stay healthy.
It's easier for a defensive coordinator to create a game plan around one player versus 5 different people that are going to touch the ball in the football game.
So, I mean, we got some athletes at the receiver position.
We do.
I'm glad we started using Josh Vann more.
Josh Vann, Juice Wells, Carryon Joyner,
Amari
Jaheim
Brown.
Bell. I mean, all of them. And when you
Y'all
spread
fall
it
asleep
around,
over here.
I was going to say, as great as this game was,
Y'all
my
better-
man does have a hard out at 6:45, and we
Y'all-
still got to talk about the biggest game.
y'all better put
Tell
me
me
to
your
sleep
thoughts
over
on
here.
Clemson, Miami.
We beat the crap out of them.
Yeah, they were.
I didn't get to
Miami
watch it.
Miami is terrible.
The best thing about it, Luke Price.
There you go. Yeah.
Touchdown, Luke Price.
You know what the worst thing is?
Awesome.
Is that a Clemson page wrote that he went to Dillon High School and he didn't. He went to Dillon Christian. So get that right.
But that was a great play call to get him involved down there at the red zone. I mean, he was
definitely deserved it.
From what I saw, it said like
wide
they
open.
practiced it.
Yeah, and he deserved it because you see Luke go in there all the time, throwing his head at somebody so that somebody else can get in the end zone. And he's done that for what, 4 or 5 years now.
He's just your workhorse.
And he deserves it.
He's like a Swiss Army knife. He can do just about anything on special teams and on offense.
He deserved it.
Hope he scores another one this week.
As much as I love Luke, I hope that he is not involved whatsoever.
Save it for the bowl game, Luke. Save it for the bowl game.
All right, quickly. Coastal Carolina took on James Madison. Or no, they didn't.
Coastal
They
didn't
were
play
supposed
this
to play
week.
Virginia.
Yep.
They're taking on James Madison this week. Quick. Who you got?
I'm taking James Madison.
I'm taking the shots.
I'm taking the shots. That will be Saturday at 12 o'clock.
They're playing at James Madison, too.
At James Madison?
Yep.
James Madison.
Yeah.
Shots on
I
top.
like it.
And the reason why there's no spread on the sheet because it wasn't available when I typed up the sheet last night.
They still have a pretty good record, James Madison?
They're 7 or 8-3.
That sucks. That they can't even make a play in the ball game.
Who is suspended?
No, it's their first year.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Give me the shots.
Shots on top.
JMU.
Jamie.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. Zed is going to just transition this real quick. We're bringing on a special guest to talk about the Carolina-Clemson game.
And unfortunately, he is a Clemson fan.
Yeah, and he's in.
We don't need another Gamecock fan. I won't be able to talk.
Avid viewers and active commenters.
That's right.
Here we go. So,
Yeah.
all right, here we go. After this transition, all right, we wanted to thank our sponsor, Dillon Tire, before we jump into this Carolina-Clemson segment. I
Man,
know
there's some good people there. I was out at the printing plant earlier today, and
doing nothing.
no, the guy that runs the printing plant, he said, "Man,
Working.
I got a flat tire. What can you do for me?" I said, he was out there taking it off. I said, "Throw him back in the truck. I'm running down Dillon Tire." Ran down Dillon Tire. Probably 15 minutes later, patched it up. Seen him on his way. Went down there, took it back to him. Great people, friendly people, good service, quick, reasonable prices.
Go see Dillon Tire.
Who's the owners?
Josh Watts.
Y'all talking about that. I need to get an oil change anyway. So
To go get your oil
I'll
change.
go see him this week.
Jordan said all that.
$6.
He didn't touch a single thing besides the steering wheel to drive it there.
What was I supposed to do?
Pick the tire up for the man.
How's the man gonna drive his car down there if it's missing a tire?
No, he said
I'm saying you could have put it on the truck for him.
I mean, did you go out there and do it? Did you
We didn't
go
know
to
about
work
it.
today?
Yeah.
I bet.
All right.
Because when we got in, the first thing you said was, "Man, it took me all day to clean the house." Obviously, you didn't.
Have you seen the house I live in?
I have, but I'm just saying, some of us were working, some of us were cleaning the house.
Well, we
I was
all choose
watching-
our lot in life.
I was watching the World Cup.
All right, biggest game of the year, and we have brought on a special guest. As you can see, he's a Clemson fan. He's in all
He is.
orange because that's what Clemson fans do 24/7. They eat, breathe, sleep orange and purple. Mr. Bobby Meekins, thank you for being here.
Yeah, and he comments. So if anybody's interested, like I said, we may do something like this once or twice a year.
Comment, like,
Comment
share.
if you want to come on.
Interact.
We'll try to work something out. Have guests on.
YouTube also.
And I would,
Twitter also.
I would just like to say, I appreciate and
Yeah.
honor the Dillon fans and people
Yeah.
that gets on. Appreciate what y'all doing here. Channel 8.
We appreciate
a lot of
that,
people really like it.
It's more so he thanks us for tolerating this guy over here.
All right, biggest game of the year. South Carolina is taking on Clemson. Clemson is now ranked number 8 in the nation. Somehow,
Still got a chance.
Deservingly so.
yes.
They deserve to be that high.
Yeah.
TCU does not.
Well, we'll talk about that later.
No,
We'll talk about TCU
I
later.
got something to say.
I will say this. I've said it all year. Clemson has not been a top 4 team all year.
Okay.
thank you.
And they still are not a top 4 team.
Well,
Win out. If they get in, then I'll pull one behind the course. But
the worst thing to happen for Clemson's chances is that North Carolina losing
Yeah,
this past week to
yeah.
Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
That hurt them.
But I mean, Clemson, and we'll touch on this later, but I mean, LSU loses to Georgia. USA is not a shoe-in to win out.
I agree.
Clemson, if they win out and beat
And win the ACC championship.
North Carolina ACC championship, they'll jump over Alabama.
Absolutely. Clemson deserves it more than Alabama does.
Yeah, I agree.
They do.
In my
I agree.
opinion, I don't like the ranking that Clemson is below.
But this-
as much as I hate Clemson, I don't like that. Clemson is a better
But this
football team than
Clemson
Alabama.
team, and I've said this, I think, before on the show, this Clemson team reminds me of the Kelly Bryant season.
I think that
Where it's like they weren't the 4th best team in the country, but it's just like TCU.
As far
where
as Clemson's
they went
playoff
out.
chances, though, I could care less. We're
It's
going to
gonna
talk
end this
about
weekend.
Carolina versus Clemson right now.
You know what?
What's it going to take for Clemson to beat Carolina?
You know
What's it going
what-
to take
you
for
know what was
Carolina
good
to beat
about that-
Clemson?
We know what was good about that little segment right there was it's Carolina Clemson week, and y'all still talking about Clemson's got a chance to make it into playoffs. So that just tells me y'all ain't real.
I don't want to talk
Y'all
about
ain't really confident.
Well,
I'm talking about
you know what it is?
Clemson this
You know what it
weekend.
is? We can have some civil conversation and not you, but like where you can talk about like Clemson's still a good team. They still have a chance, but it's going to end after Saturday.
Guess what?
Saturday's
Tennessee,
coming.
y'all beat Tennessee. Guess what? Y'all still trash. I ain't never gonna say the Gamecocks are good. Trash, garbage.
We're coming off one of the biggest wins of the year for any team. The most points scored against a top 5 team.
This
by an
man's got
unranked
me
opponent.
hot down here.
Garbage.
Coming into Clemson, who, they're coming off a big win against Miami, I guess. I mean,
How many
what's
points y'all
Miami?
scored the week before?
6.
We ain't talking about the week
All
before.
right, then.
We're talking about the most recent
Exactly.
game. We went out there and
So you
Spencer
don't know-
Rattler said
so
1,
y'all don't know which team
2,
you get.
3,
No, we
You don't
4.
know.
We
You
really
better
don't.
hope
You don't know.
that Clemson does not get the Gamecocks of this past weekend.
We don't.
You really
know.
don't. You really
Because
don't.
they will run Clemson out of Memorial Stadium.
Well,
I don't agree with that. I agree with
Here's what they'll do. They'll run them down the hill and they'll run them back up. And
Here's the thing. Like obviously we've got we'll talk more about it. But if South Carolina's
got me
passing
hot,
game, if South Carolina's passing game is like it was against Tennessee, Clemson's in trouble because the weakest part of
Yes.
their defense is their secondary.
Right.
And can our offensive line block?
I think what happened.
The South Carolina's offensive line cannot block against the best defensive line to ever step foot on the football field.
True.
Can't do
But
it.
they haven't showed it at the best. I know Landry's told us that week after week after week, but
What?
I've also seen that best offensive line give up like close to 300 rushing yards, do it again like 200 rushing yards. I mean,
I think Miami.
the thing is
I made a bold
Spencer Rattler was
prediction.
throwing
Bold? You call that bold?
I made a bold prediction.
I think another thing for Clemson is which DJ is going to show up. We talk about South Carolina, which South Carolina offense
Y'all
is going to
think
show up.
that-
Which DJ is going to show
Which
up?
Spencer Rattler's going to show up?
The one that played against Tennessee.
No, it ain't.
I mean, Rattler, like his stats
All
may
right,
not.
if you get the Spencer Rattler that played against Tennessee, I want the DJ that played against
Wake Forest.
Did he have 450 passing yards?
He's had 5 touchdowns. That's good enough.
but you don't want that defense that played against Wake Forest. Because if we get to Spencer Rattler that played
I
against
want the one that
Tennessee
played this
versus
weekend.
your defense that played
I
against
want the
Wake
one that-
Forest,
I think Miami is just a awful football
Oh, yeah, they're
team.
bad.
They are bad. Like I mean,
bad.
I get being bad, but I mean they couldn't even eclipse 100 yards total offense against Clemson.
Yeah.
That's bad. That's awful. They had 30 yards.
I'd like to see how many yards of total offense South Carolina had against Florida because it couldn't have been much more than 100.
I don't know how often
We had
this
over
has happened.
200 yards.
I don't know how often this has ever happened.
Barely.
Might have never happened, but Luke from Dillon scored on a defensive coordinator's team. He's from Dillon.
Kevin Steele?
Kevin Steele.
Yeah.
I didn't know where you were going with
Yeah,
that.
it
But
took you a while to
I'm
get that
pretty
one
sure
out.
Kevin's still getting paid by Clemson.
Hey, as long
I will say
as
that.
Dylan's on the map, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Wait, when did they? Because didn't they bring in Kevin Steele after Venables left? Or
No,
he was on Clemson staff for like a
Kevin
brief
Steele-
period.
Kevin Steele was
on the 2013 team.
The year,
2011
the year we got
West
blown
Virginia
out by
took Kevin Steele out.
Yeah.
But I thought he came back.
No.
When West Virginia hung 77 on the Tigers, that's when they
just
ran him
West
out of
Virginia
Tigers
scored
out.
again.
They played the Orange Bowl. That some of y'all don't know about.
I remember that because they
Well, we wouldn't
they
qualify
hooked more
for
than the
that
speed
one.
limit sign on.
Yes, y'all did. Y'all qualified for that.
Maybe now, but not back then. We did it.
So, I will say this: what South Carolina did to Tennessee has made it to where nobody, Clemson or Carolina fans, really know what this game is going to hold.
But the line is 14.5 as of now. Like it obviously can shift.
That's
before
just
Saturday.
Vegas looking
But I know,
at
but
It
it's
won't
like.
shift, but maybe 2 points one way or the other,
But like-
depending on where the money comes in.
Right.
I just don't think with the way Carolina's been inconsistent this year and the way Clemson's like not inconsistent, but they're not what they normally are. Like I don't think any sane fan has a read on how this game's going to go Saturday.
That's right.
They don't.
I totally agree.
I know how it's
Agree
going
with
to
you.
go.
It feels like a
No, you don't.
2017 team this year.
Yeah.
Kind of like with Kelly Bryant.
Yeah.
I just feel like we're dragging. We're doing good, but we're dragging.
Yeah, you're kind of
dragging. through.
It's like the ACC. While they're historically not strong, but like they're just not that good this year.
Clemson is having
They're top
more
heavy.
hurdles in their way this football season.
I
than
think
the
it's more
Clemson
so
teams have had.
Clemson being like you were trying to say, like they're more in their own way this year.
Right, and also I feel like Clemson, as good of a football team as they are this year, they're still getting compared to the national championship and Final Four playoff teams that they've had here in the past, and that it's not the same team.
Yeah.
Right.
They are still a good team, and I think that they would, if they win this week, which they're not going
They're gonna
to,
be-
but if they were going to,
Yeah.
they would deserve a spot.
They're going to be run heavy. They're going to be run
They get
heavy.
there because they're historically.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Well, it's like
They're going to be run heavy.
Well, it's like
this
how-
weekend, for sure. That's
like
our
I know
weakest part.
Clemson they didn't have the same kind of run that Alabama had. I don't think that's ever going to happen again. But it's the same way with Alabama
I mean,
right
they're
now.
pretty close.
No, Alabama ain't gonna make it in this year's.
No.
But my thing is like they've only lost 2 games. Like most college teams, they would love to only lose 2
Right,
games
and
in a
they've
year.
lost those
And
two
it's just
plays
like-
they've lost those 2 games on 2 plays, but they're also 3 plays away from being a 5-loss football team.
Or we still
And
talking
it just
about Alabama?
Yeah.
and it just everybody's just like, well, is it over?
All right.
And
Well,
with
go
that
ahead.
being said, like he was saying, with a while ago,
Yeah.
the pass, and of course y'all guys are younger than me, a lot younger than me. But
Landry's a baby.
Yeah, we can tell they got a lot more energy
growing
on
up,
the camera.
growing up in the '80s and the '90s,
Yeah.
as a diehard Clemson fan, when you finish 6-5, most of the time we had to beat South Carolina to make a bowl, or Lord forbid if you finish 7-4 or 8-3. Oh wow, man, you didn't go to the national championship, but you was in a top tier bowl.
Yeah.
That was the highlight of a Clemson fan back then. Because I mean, national championship, we just wasn't a
Yeah.
team that could compete for that back then.
Right.
So when you Clemson fan, when you finished 8-3 back then, it was
You've done something.
Yeah.
it was like wow, man, it's on top of the
And
world.
Dabo came in at the right time because, like, if he took over like Clemson today, and it's like you flirt around like 6 to 8 wins a season,
Yeah.
they'll boot you.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Like I saw Eli Drinkowitz talk about that today in his press conference. Like it's one thing to allow like time where you just constantly regress, but it's like coaches aren't allowed time to like try to make change
Yeah.
Exactly.
in situations. Now Muschamp is, but
But it's become more of a besides this week. Throughout the season, it's more of a conference versus conference top battle now.
Right.
It's SEC, ACC, Clemson's weak conference. South Carolina says I'm in the best conference, which they are historically. Right now, and I don't see it changing. SEC is the most powerful football conference there is.
I'm about to
Yeah.
get.
But ACC felt like they done what they needed to do back 10, 15 years ago. They added Miami, a powerhouse in Miami, which has showed up. Powerhouse in Virginia Tech. They added Pittsburgh, which used to be a fairly powerful football team back in the 80s and 90s.
The SEC stole some of the Big Ten.
But then you still had Florida State. Florida State with Bobby Bowden went on a run there for a while.
So they added some powerhouse teams to build their conference up.
Yeah.
But they just get out recruited and out. Outdone.
I don't know. It's interesting. I don't really know how to read this game because I don't know what Carolina's going to show up. And, as much as, we talk about Clemson, like you don't really know which Clemson offense is going to show up. You kind of know what you're going to get with your defense at this point.
Yeah. I think this is what is kind of good for the rivalry because in the past, however many years since.
Like 6, but go ahead.
It's more than 6, buddy. It's more than 6.
Since like 2013.
Yeah.
We didn't play in 1 year.
It's been, Clemson's just going to win.
Yeah.
It should be 8 in a row, but it's 6.
But, honestly, last weekend, us 3 included, we said Carolina had no shot to win last weekend.
I was taking Tennessee and the point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just so many uncertainties on Carolina's end because you don't know which team's going to show up.
Yeah.
And because I'll be honest with you, if we're not scoring, Clemson's strongest offensive asset is their run game, and that's our weakest defense.
Yeah. All right. I know my man's got to jump out of here. All right. Let's make some picks real quick.
The over-under is at 52
Let me see my paper.
as of today.
I just want to pick this one straight up. Is Carolina or Clemson going to win?
You want money?
So, if you want to pick it by the spread, you can say your spread as well, but let's pick it straight
We
up.
know where the picks are going to be. We already know. You already know.
Make your bold pick. All right.
Duh.
Each person 10 seconds. Give you one key to the game to make your team win, and then your pick. Just so we got it on video.
All right, we'll start down there.
All right, Kyle, go ahead.
So obviously, I'm gonna take South Carolina. The key for me, I'm gonna make 2. It's us stopping the run.
Yep.
And us being able to pass the ball.
Yep. Bounce it to you.
All right, well, my 2 keys to the game are being able to stop the pass and being able to run the football.
There you go. And you're picking
Clemson.
All right, for me, I'm going to go with Satterfield has to call a complete game, whether we have CBS or Lloyd back this week. And then also, like you said, being able to stop the run. Jordan?
I'm taking the Gamecocks and running the Tigers back up the hill.
That's his key, is run them back up the hill.
Run them down, beat them, and run them back up.
Lastly, our special guest, Mr. Bobby, what you got? What's your keys?
All thing I can tell you is this game here makes me nervous about like 2014 did. I was on a 5-game winning streak. I was nervous, hoping y'all didn't break y'all record of 5 games straight. I was tired of losing to y'all. I suffered for 5 years.
Now you know how
2014, we broke the ice and won. And it ain't been close since.
It happened.
Nope.
Except 2015.
It
We
was-
beat y'all by 5.
Yeah,
37,
I was thinking it was a
32.
6-point game.
Other than that, we kind of cruised through y'all.
We haven't had the athletes.
The way y'all playing, carrying momentum into this game, it's going to be a good game. I feel like it's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
But y'all just going to have to suffer a little bit more. It should be 8 in a row. But I think we'll put 8 in a row in the Valley. Because we're in the Valley. And that's plus 3 points at least right there on the map.
Yeah. And
But we're going to have to win the turnover margin, and we're going to have to win field position.
there you go.
Okay, I'm not talking X's and O's and defense and scatter field, but we're going to have to win the turnover margin and win field position.
Yep.
33-24.
One of our biggest
33-24,
assets. One of our biggest assets is our punter. So,
Yeah.
33-24. We got a good field goal here.
You taking Clemson, I'm assuming.
Absolutely.
So you heard it here. All right. Well, Mr. Bobby Meekins, we thank you for being with us again. Like Kyle said earlier, we'll try and do this a few times a year, especially next season. So interact with us. We'll pick somebody out, bring them on. And before we go into this national segment, make sure to join us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and most importantly, the Hometown Digital TV app. That's where you're going to get this episode the most earliest. and the most bright and beautiful
earliest. Most.
Did you hear
most
that?
earliest.
Yeah, most earliest.
And not early.
Most earliest.
Hey,
Most
we're not
earliest.
in English
Most
class.
earliest.
We're not in English class.
Exactly. We are in Dillon, South Carolina.
And
Exactly.
have a happy Thanksgiving as well, everybody.
Have a happy Thanksgiving, and before we get to this national segment,
Go
and
Cox.
Zed,
Go
cut it right
Tigers.
after this. Go Cox. Cox by 90.
Go
Cut
Tigers.
it. Cut
Go
it.
Tigers.
Cocky top, baby.
All right, guys, let's talk about the national stuff.
Who you
New
got?
playoff
Who you got
run.
in mind? Who you got in mind?
For what?
Say TCU.
TCU.
TCU, the
Frog
Dogs.
TCU.
Jordan's still
Frogs, baby.
big mad that his
Horned
Tennessee
Frogs.
Volunteers lost.
How can they be the number 4 team in the nation and only a 10-point favorite at home to a 4-win football team?
But guess what? They still win.
How
I
can
would love
Michigan?
All they got to do is win.
How can Michigan be the number 2 team and barely last second field
That's
goal
not
to
what
win
I
the game?
said.
But they're the same thing.
Yeah, same thing.
That's not what I said.
I tell you what, though, this college football playoff ranking, Clemson's not out of it yet.
No.
No.
Because
Not at
the
all.
Gamecocks beat Tennessee, it gave Clemson a pass.
I don't think LSU should be ranked as high as they are.
No.
They're at 5.
No,
with
what
2
about the
losses.
one who
USC
shouldn't
should
be
be
up there is one
Honestly, I think
Alabama Crimson Tide.
Yeah,
Should not be number
they creeping up. They might get in too. I'm telling you,
I
they're going to
think-
keep Alabama in it.
I think Clemson should honestly be at 6 behind USC at 5.
Yeah,
Agreed.
There's no the only reason why LSU is at 5 is on the off chance that they upset Georgia.
Yeah, so they can
they're
put them
getting
in, yeah,
into
so they
the
can put them
playoff,
in,
yeah.
which is a shame. Yes, they are. They may won the SEC West division. Even if they win the SEC championship, I don't think they should be in the national in the college football playoff.
I don't hate it.
The SEC champion being
Because like what if a
because you know why? Because they're battle tested through and through the
Yeah.
entire year.
I'll give
They're not some TCU team. Their best win
Tennessee,
is a 7-win
the SEC
team.
Tennessee demolished LSU. I mean, they didn't barely beat them. They demolished
any given Sunday though. You know what I'm
Saturday?
saying?
and they beat
I
them
mean, I know
at
it's Saturday, but the
LSU.
saying is any
Yeah.
given Sunday. You know, I mean,
I
It
don't
don't
know.
matter because them frog dogs is in it.
yeah, the frog dogs.
And when the line comes out and they're matched up against number 1 Georgia and it's a 40-point spread, you're going to say,
Hey,
why'd you
Well,
put
wasn't
them
it
in
like that
George
last year with Georgia and Michigan?
wait. George's been calling them a fraud.
there? They are a fraud.
I
The
bet
Tennessee
you wish
frauds.
the Gamecocks were frauds right now.
They are frauds. Did you not just see them score 63 points
I
on
bet
Tennessee?
you wish they were frauds right now.
Did you
He's
not
still-
just see
he's
them
still-
score 63 points on Tennessee in the week prior? They
Here-
didn't even have an offensive touchdown.
Here's another thing.
I got any given Sunday.
Nah, man.
You've got Ohio State at 2, Michigan at 3. Let's just say for example, Michigan wins Saturday, but it's like 20-17. It's a hard-fought game. Do you see Ohio State moving out of the top 4?
Oh yeah,
No,
yeah.
No,
For
I
sure.
don't.
They barely just won. They've had a bunch of
They're
games
the
here
number 2 team
recently.
in the nation. If they lose to the number 3 team in the nation by a
There's
field
no
goal,
way
they're
they
go
would.
out
There's
the
no
top
way
four.
they would
They
put. There's
Yes.
no way they would put LSU in the top 4.
Well,
If
Tennessee
LSU goes and beats
But that's next
Georgia-
week. That's next week,
Yeah.
though.
but Tennessee.
Who's LSU
If we're
play this
talking,
week?
if we're talking next week,
Who's
I get it.
LSU's got is it Ole Miss?
I'll tell you in just a sec. No, Ole Miss and
Ole Miss
Mississippi State
plays
play
Mississippi
Egg
tomorrow.
Bowl.
Egg bowl.
Give me just a second. I'll tell you.
A&M.
The top 4, I would say, is right strictly because all 4 of them are
You taking A&M? I'm taking
A&M over LSU.
No. We're
we're
talking
getting-
about who's going to play in the game. We're just.
Yeah.
I think it's A&M. I think it's LSU.
Who we talking about again? I already forgot.
LSU.
I think
It's,
they're playing
it's,
A&M.
it's
Auburn.
LSU and A&M.
Told you.
7 o'clock.
LSU will
Auburn plays
kill.
Alabama this week.
LSU will kill them.
And it's at Texas A&M, which if you saw their game last weekend, there wasn't nobody there.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
They had guys running track
was-
meets in the upper deck.
That was bad.
They were doing the relay.
The
up
boys said,
there.
we're going back to the fields with the steers.
But
ain't
no,
watching this.
I think just for talking this week, not looking ahead to the SEC championship, but if it's a close game between Michigan and Ohio State, I think the loser still stays in the top 4 unless USC just dominates Notre Dame this weekend. If USC dominates Notre Dame this weekend, I think they'll jump into the top 4.
All bias aside, if y'all can do this, do you think that TCU is truly the number 4 team in the nation? Do you think that if you were to put them head-to-head against LSU, USC, Alabama, Clemson, Oregon, Tennessee, do you think that they win the football game?
No.
Okay.
I mean, if you're saying if they'll be all 4 or teams of the you name,
I'm just saying
probably not.
any of
I
them
think
that you
they
put
could
in
beat-
there.
I think they could beat LSU.
I think they could beat LSU. I think that they could probably beat Clemson. I think that they could probably
I think they could beat Alabama.
USC.
So I'm
They
glad
could
you
probably
said
beat
that.
Alabama.
Alabama's not that good.
I ran it last night.
All right, before
and
I
it
let,
ran 500.
before I let this go too far, I'll be honest, I spaced out a little bit. What was your question?
Do you think
TCU could beat any of the teams behind them.
Behind them?
Yes, as in
I thought he was about to say in front of them.
No.
as in
Guess
LSU, Southern Cal, Bama, Clemson,
Can
Oregon,
they?
Tennessee.
Yeah.
Would they?
That's a hard question
What's
to
the
answer,
difference?
though.
I ran it last night. And I
Would you
ran
run it on
I
what?
put 2022
Give us the
Alabama-
algorithm.
20,
On Xbox?
it was some website I found online. 2022 Alabama, 2022 TCU, and the scores that it came after it ran 500 games was just uncanny. Because it didn't just do just one game; it ran it 500 different times, and the
did you get
spread
this
that
from?
it came.
I was about to say, where did you
I'm
find
just sending
this?
it to you in case you want to just make up matchups. I'm telling you, it's great.
How long does it take to run this?
About 3 seconds.
What?
I think that
It's a computer-generated program.
I think that TCU could
What's it
beat
called?
anybody that's
I
behind
have to
them.
find it and send it to you.
TCU could beat anybody.
Yeah, they're
that's
not
behind
like a
them.
clear
They,
cut.
I don't even think
they're
they
not
would be
gonna-
a favorite to anybody that's behind
But it
them.
But I
doesn't
think that
matter.
even if they're not a favorite, they could still beat them.
Yeah,
Okay, all right, guys.
I don't understand your
I'm gonna buy,
fascination.
I'm gonna buy
I don't
y'all-
think that they're
I'm gonna
the
buy
number
each
four.
one of y'all TCU hats.
No, listen.
I'll
We're
wear it.
We're gonna
We
buy.
know.
Buy me a shirt.
We know.
Buy me a shirt. I'll
Because
wear
you
it.
got a new sticker on your truck.
Jordan,
that says
Jordan, we're gonna
University
buy
of
you-
Louisiana Monroe.
Jordan, we're gonna buy
That's
you
been
a
on there.
Tennessee hat because you.
I'm
you were
not
up-
sold
you were
on
up-
Tennessee.
You were
I'm just
upset
telling
about
you.
Tennessee.
I'm not. I'm just saying TCU is not the number 14
No,
in the
they're
nation.
not.
They're not.
But
Guess what? They won
are
every
they?
game they played this
Exactly.
year.
They're undefeated. They're one of 4 teams that's
So
undefeated.
was Cincinnati, and look how bad they got beat.
But so was Clemson a few years ago. So was
not
Notre
good
Dame.
for football, guys.
I mean,
Don't
Clemson
you-
got
so you
routed
would
by
much rather
Ohio
have
State one
a
time in the
two-loss
playoffs.
LSU team above
Yeah.
TCU?
I want the playoffs to be the best 4 teams in the nation.
Y'all, if Jordan walked around from this thing and pulled his pants down and showed y'all his tail in it, you know what be on there? A big old SEC logo.
No, I'm
He's a
I'm
homer.
sitting here talking about
He's a
Clemson.
homer.
Big
No,
old
I
SEC
think-
logo.
I'm trying to
He's a homer.
support Clemson.
We know
Clemson
what
is
you
a
want.
better team than
We
TCU.
put it out. We put it out last week. This man wants Georgia number 1, LSU number 2,
Bama number
Alabama number 3, and Tennessee number 4.
I do not.
And the
That's what he
Gamecocks
wants.
number 5.
I do not. But Clemson is
Yeah.
a better football team than TCU.
All right.
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
USC's better. I don't think that LSU's better. Alabama's better. Clemson's better. Oregon's better.
LSU's in their spot.
Better,
'cause they beat
and can they-
Alabama.
You can't even muster it and say Tennessee's better. You tried and it wouldn't. It would not come out.
Hold on.
No, because I just saw what
No.
we did to Tennessee.
Tennessee now is not one of the best teams.
Oh,
in the
no,
country.
yeah,
because they
yeah.
just
Yeah.
lost their
But-
quarterback.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying,
So that's
but they
a
would,
fact.
on paper, TCU would probably beat Tennessee right now because Tennessee's without their star quarterback.
Okay, but you had to go all the way to number 10 to find that team.
I'm going
I think they could beat everybody they're in front of.
Okay.
frog dogs over the regular dogs.
We got some good. We
You
got some,
think that TCU's better than Georgia?
I'll just say it.
All right, let's pick these rivalry games. Ole Miss taking on Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl.
I'm
Mississippi
anxious
State.
about this one just because is it Lane Kiffin's last
Mississippi
game at Ole
State.
Miss?
Yes,
Mississippi State, Mike Leach is the GOAT. Will Rogers is the GOAT.
Mississippi
Okay.
State.
Mississippi State.
Ole Miss by a bunch.
It could go one of 2 ways because
I don't know.
do the players truly believe Lane Kiffin when he
No.
says that he's not going?
Nobody
Because
should.
Lane Kiffin has done
Nobody
this so
should.
many times. He talks out of both sides of his mouth.
But the thing
he
is,
out.
like
He
he's
is
not
gone.
like he's replying to everybody that that the reporter that came out and said he was leaving.
Yeah.
But he never denied that
Yeah,
he
he never
was
said,
leaving.
"Hey,
he
I'm
just
not-
like that's news to me.
Yeah.
So it's like I think it's a
I think him
foregone
saying that's
conclusion
news
that
to
he's
me
leaving.
is
Yeah,
a
he's
denial.
He's gone.
He's gone.
I saw a
And
tweet.
I don't blame
But
him.
I think Ole Miss wins this one easily.
I saw a
Mississippi State's
tweet.
just not that good.
Push that. Mississippi State is there.
That's one of Landry's 27 teams.
You got Mississippi State.
I'll take
You taking Ole Miss?
Right
I'll
there.
take
You
Mississippi
see it.
State.
I got Ole Miss.
You got Ole Miss. All right. Oregon State.
I think Oregon State could
Didn't they just
kind of
get
mess
beat?
around.
Oregon State, Oregon.
I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Oregon.
Ducks.
Ducks.
Oregon State. Let's
What
find
ugly
it.
uniform they gonna wear?
I was about to say they should come out with a turkey on their helmet.
Oregon State's 8-3. They beat
But the
Arizona
fe-
State.
You know what? Why don't when they play in a bowl game, Why don't they throw some Christmas colors on there or something if they're around Christmas time?
Oregon State won 31-7, beat
They should
Arizona
just-
State last
okay.
weekend.
Model
I was
their
thinking
they
about
should just
Oklahoma
model their
State.
They have
jersey
lost 3
after
games
whatever
this
bowl
year.
they get into.
I saw something when they debuted their speckle uniforms, and people were talking all this kind of stuff. And I honestly, in my heart, did not think that people realized that duck eggs are
Yeah, I
speckled.
don't
That's
think
why
they
the
do.
uniforms
Yeah.
were that way.
Yeah, they don't
but people were just
So
like,
they've got so many different combinations. It's hard to
But
keep
that's
up with.
where
They
that
should do
come from.
different ducks. Change it up.
Yeah.
Did you see
Jersey
this?
Day-
This was
Daffy Duck one time?
This was like I
Scrooge
think like
McDuck?
10 years ago. I think we were still in high school, but they
Hold on,
unveiled
hold on,
this.
Kyle.
Huh?
The only one up here that was
Well,
in high school
bad
10
man.
years ago was this man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. Like,
don't
don't hold me to 10 years.
about?
Don't hold me to. I'm trying to get there.
Oh.
But they interrupt me because I wasn't factual on my years. I think us three were in high school, and Oregon unveiled like a new logo. He looked like the Green Goblin from
Oh, yeah,
Spider-Man.
yeah. I
That
know.
sucker was scary.
Yeah, I think it's.
Oh,
what's
my
it called? It's got
gosh.
a name. It's got a name.
I don't know, but he was scary.
It's got a name. I'm looking it up.
That mascot lasted one time.
I have no recollection of this.
I don't
see.
either.
Well, we know y'all don't watch any other games besides Carolina games,
Exactly.
so
Did
that's
Carolina just change their logo?
the university did.
Yeah, but they've done that
Okay,
multiple
top football.
times.
Yeah, that's just
like
a brand.
baseball.
While you looking that
Logo and
up,
everything's
Alabama, Auburn.
Alabama.
Alabama big.
tied. They're gonna
Wait, which one?
they're gonna put
Alabama, Auburn.
They're gonna put some style points.
They trying to get in.
They're gonna put some style points
Roll
on the board.
Tide.
Vanderbilt beats Tennessee this
Right there.
weekend.
Right, this one right here. Robo Duck. That one.
Okay.
That man look like an alien.
Yeah,
That looks like Howard the Duck. You ever seen that movie?
that looks nothing like Howard the Duck.
Yeah, it looks like Howard the Duck.
Tennessee's gonna lose this weekend.
Tennessee,
Vanderbilt
in
is-
Vandy.
Vanderbilt's not going on a 3-game SEC win streak,
It's
and they haven't
Vanderbilt
won
at
one in
home.
a decade.
Vanderbilt's at home.
Tennessee without their quarterback.
No.
Dude, I just saw something where Vanderbilt, because Kyle told us when they went to Vanderbilt that it was not a packed stadium. They didn't, you wouldn't even know that Vandy was playing.
No.
I don't think
They're
we get-
offering
unless-
$10,000 off of tuition to students that show up at the game.
What,
Do you know how
one person gets
expensive
picked?
tuition is at Vanderbilt?
But that's what I'm saying. Just to go to a game, we're gonna knock off $10K. Just please
Is
just
that
show
like,
up.
is that like a contest they're running, or they're like for every student?
I
we'll
didn't
knock
read the
off
article.
10,000?
I didn't read
It's
the article.
definitely like a
so-
contest. It's
Yeah, there's
definitely
no
a
way they
contest.
just
Either
knock
way,
off
the fact that
10.
they're knocking off $10K
Yeah.
in any capacity just to show up for a football
Yeah.
game,
Who you got
That's
next?
I'm taking Tennessee.
I'm gonna take Vanderbilt.
I got the Vols.
You're taking Vanderbilt?
I mean, why
Tennessee
not?
hater.
Jordan's a Tennessee lover.
Tennessee.
He's just upset.
Rocky Top.
One thing I
We
did-
also saw where Tennessee
Rocky
fans were
gets back
saying that
on top.
apparently the team has quit on
Yeah.
something about an
That's
NIL
just-
deal. or
That's
some
just
crap.
like
But you're
that
looking
going-
at it, and if any,
That's just forum talk, though.
If
They
it-
say everything. I also
But
saw
no,
where
the
he
player,
said
the player was Josh Heupel refused to comment on the player that was suspended for the Carolina game,
Well,
and it's like
I'm sure plenty of coaches do, but
no, but it,
Also
when
on
it
the same
says for
forum, they said
unspecified reasons.
that the Gamecocks put a lot of sand on their field to slow their receivers down.
right, like it,
Like didn't slow ours down.
like it only works on half the football, like half
Yeah.
the other team playing. Right?
One thing I saw today about Michigan State, they did have 7 players charged in the brawl
I did
in the
see that.
tunnel.
I did see that.
But Michigan State gave Mel Tucker, who's their head coach, a $100,000 bonus that was supposed to be shared amongst the assistant coaches. He didn't give any of it. He kept it all to himself.
Oh, well, like, that's a stipulation. How can you do it?
Is it a stipulation or is it like, hey, here's $100,000?
Yeah, it says Michigan State gave a $100,000 bonus to Mel Tucker, meant to be spread among him, assistant coaches, and admins.
Well, you know
Maybe
what?
he's waiting till the end of the year to
and
decide
Tuck
who
kept it
deserves
all.
some of the money.
Or
It says Mel Tucker's contract stipulates he and his staff can share a 6-figure bonus instead. So it's in his contract where it says this is for you to divvy up amongst your however you see
Yeah.
fit, and just kept it all himself. And he got
But-
that gigantic extension after one good season.
But what if he's waiting until the end of the year to say, all right, maybe this guy's not going to
But
be
he
here.
gave
Why
it-
would I give you
he got
10K?
it. He got it last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the bonus was given last year.
Yeah.
I believe.
sounds like he's not a good person or a good coach.
But then you got
So
Michigan.
they should have divvied it up themselves.
I saw somebody.
Tuck is not bad.
I saw somebody comment about
Or
something
Tuck is coming is what
about
they say.
the article
Yeah.
that I read, and they were upset that the judge that I guess saw the case that charged the Michigan State players was a Michigan alum. So they're like, he did it. They did it on purpose. They did it on purpose.
can't fault
Can't do that.
I can't find. If I was a judge and some Clemson players came in front of me, guilty.
I read something today that really tickled me.
Sports
It said-
fight should
It said, you know, I hope
settled
that
by a
everybody
judge.
has a happy Thanksgiving except Clemson fans, and I hope your turkey's dry.
Dry.
I loved it.
Dry as a
I loved
bone.
it.
Yes.
Hope you burn it.
All right, last
I was really hoping you'd burn the cheesecake today. Man.
last national game, and this is a big one: Michigan, Ohio State.
It's at
The winner
it's
of
at-
this is pretty much in the playoffs. The loser could potentially be out.
It's at Ohio State, so I'm taking Ohio State.
Buckeyes.
I'm taking Michigan.
I want Michigan.
Is Michigan's top running back going to be healthy this
I
week?
want Michigan to win it because
Because I don't think he's going to be healthy. If
Ohio
he-
State just has not played good the last few weeks.
You know what? I'm going out on a limb.
They won with 9 seconds left.
Last week,
Michigan.
Michigan.
I'm going with the Wolves.
if Michigan's
Not the
top
Wolves.
running back is not playing, I don't think they stand a chance.
Oh yeah, no.
Because Michigan can't throw the ball.
How bad is he hurt?
I don't know.
I'm gonna say Michigan if Charbonnet's playing. Ohio State if he's not.
You can't hedge it. Make a pick.
Make a pick.
Make a pick.
Oh, Michigan. Yeah.
Okay.
I never picked.
All right,
I took the Buckeyes.
Yeah,
Michigan.
me and Jordan.
All right, that wraps it up. Thank everyone for watching Cover 4. We hope that you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Also, go USA over England.
No,
That's right.
Hold on. If you're going to end it, you got to end it the right way. Go Gamecocks.
Go Gamecocks.
Go
Cut.
Tigers. Go Tigers.